Yep. So, you guys finally arrive at Mars Edge. The river actually going into the city, or the town, has a fairly big sort of metal portcullis preventing direct entry for the boat. And you sort of moor up outside as two guards approach, and Bree talks to them sort of quite cordially, and sort of she seems to know them and they seem to know her, and so soon enough sort of, they call out and you hear sort of chains clanking and the portcullis opens and you're into the city proper. As you sort of travel through, you see that the gate is actually powered by water wheels. They've got a small system of sort of sluices and canals, which is what's pulling the gate up. And yes, you are now in Marsh Edge. Bree invites you all to a tavern called the River's Rum, RUM. It sort of offers food, lodging, or at least, a place to get a decent breakfast.
Gomi will say to everybody, do we have time? We need to get this done as quickly as possible.
I think we should keep going.
Okay.
Anyone else?
That's fine with me.
I'll thank Bree, for the offer, but something else, Bree, the one that got away. I don't know if it came with us under the boat. I mean, I'm just saying, keep an eye out. I worry about that, but otherwise, we really need to continue on our mission, as I said, to hopefully take care of our business. I'll say, but yeah, that's it.
She sort of nods and says, "Lizard men aren't necessarily the kindest creatures, but I don't think they're that dumb. I think it probably fled. It would not risk its life just for revenge."
Hopefully not, but like I said, I believe me and our lovely party will continue on our way.
Yep, and you continue on your way. Sort of walking through the larger town, you find your way to the... One sec, let me just check my map. You find your way sort of across the river and out of the eastern gate, and sort of taking bearings from this scroll, you head off into the forest. Sort of heading in the direction where you believe that this druid coven is.
On the route, Gomi will say to Sylph that while we're here, I suggest you don't hunt. Some druids aren't too fond of that.
Sylph replies, "Duly noted. I'll keep my arrows in my quiver."
Thank you.
That's what he said.
Yep. Who would be guiding the party and reading the map at this point?
Not the elf.
Hey.
Well, in all fairness, it's what rangers are meant to do.
Yeah.
But it's really a toss-up between...
Well, didn't we
being
get
him.
the directions wrong? Back in
That's
Wild
true.
Earth?
That's very true. I guess Gomi would be then.
Okay, make a survival check for me.
Oh, that's awesome. I've got... Oh, never mind. I was going to say I have proficiency in that, but shit.
You wander through the woods and you end up at a clearing. It's quite a large clearing, sort of with a small stump in the centre, and you're fairly certain this isn't where you're meant to be. Nothing like this is sort of mentioned in the map or the notes by it.
Sylph,
At least not this early.
Sylph leans over, looking at the map that Gomi's been trying to lead us with, and says, he while pointing at the map, I say, "Don't you think we should be here and not here?"
This promptly gets you to an into way up the map should be held. It's not essentially clear. Both of you make one more survival check for me as you wander about the forest.
Oh, that's better at least.
Fuck.
Okay, both of you actually make that one, for reasons I am not disclosing right now.
Ooh.
And you guys actually end up back in the same clearing you were at the first time. Now, Gomi and Sylph, you both swear and know that directions you were traveling, you should not have ended up back here.
Oh.
The map's wrong. Obviously, the map's wrong.
No, I don't know if my character would realize that. I would assume Gomi's...
Are you guys arguing?
Sort of Silence and Ella, as far as you guys can figure out, you've been going around in circles. You've just ended up back at this clearing. You haven't really seen the map.
Yep.
Okay, well then Ella will ask, is there a problem?
Something's not right.
No.
Either the map's wrong, we're wrong, or there's something magical.
I cast
I
detect
thought you were a
magic.
druid. Sorry. Yeah. Go on.
Okay, you cast Detect Magic, and
Yep. Yeah.
basically, yeah, this entire clearing is covered in a faint magical energy. A lot of the trees here are sort of glowing with sort of a dull green magical energy, and sort of, yeah, there's a highly magical sort of presence just around this entire area.
Go-
Did you tell Gomi you were casting that?
no,
Okay.
but I would confirm afterwards saying that I feel the magic.
What kind of magic?
It's like a blanket upon the land.
You can, if you use an action, you can learn what school it's from.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'm guessing you do that?
Yes.
Okay, this isn't actually any sort of visible school of magic that you know. This feels to you a lot like the magic that Gomi uses, some more druidic, natural magic.
To Gomi, I'll say, I think these are your people.
Then we must wait here. They'll come to us eventually.
What does that mean?
It means we just wait. If it's magical here, it's either a trap laid by them, in which case I can show them that I'm one of them. Hopefully, they shouldn't be with the other guy that we're hunting. If they are, we'll just have to kill them. I don't have an issue with that. And then, otherwise, they might already know we're here and they're simply watching us, in which case we should wait. And they should eventually show themselves.
Sylph looks over to Gomi. Why don't you do some druid stuff? Won't that attract them? Like, I don't know, you can maybe change form? Or
I don't know how.
Oh, that's
I
right,
was
sorry.
shown how to.
Well, Sylph continues on. Can you just do some druid stuff? I mean, I don't know what that's about.
The only
Everyone make a perception check for me.
Ah. Gomi sees all.
not quite. I was too off a crit there.
Okay, everyone except Ella. Ella, you think there's something up with this stump. Something about the way the magic darts around it. You become strangely sort of focused on this stump. Everyone else, you can notice the quite obvious druids basically emerging from the trees around you. And by emerging from the trees, I don't mean appearing out from between the trees. They are literally stepping out of the trees right now, forming from the bark and sort of coming out.
I even know what spell that is as well.
Guys, there's something with this stump.
Gomi just whispers to her, there's nothing about the stump.
There's
And then Gomi will
something-
step forwards towards them.
Sylph sort of pokes at Ella and points at one of the dryads or the druids.
The stump.
Gomi will say to them, I am a druid from the Circle of the Moon, and I seek... what would be the word? Communion
Guidance?
with you. Yeah.
Communion works.
Yep.
Sort of, they approach, they're all dressed in sort of similar dark browns and greens. Most of them are elves. There's quite a few humans and one or two gnomes present. And sort of upon hearing this, one elf approaches and sort of, he introduces himself. He sort of says, "My name is Moss. M-O-S-S. You are known to us, Gomi, by your relation and connection to nature, if nothing else. We would gladly accept communion. Tell me, who are your friends?"
Well, we got the small ones, Ella. Silence is the tiefling. Don't worry, he's one of the good guys, I think. And Sylph is the elf back there.
Sylph perks up and waves.
He gives you a long look. Sylph again, make a perception check for me.
Okay.
This time with advantage.
Hey.
Phew. Now you see everything.
Okay, 1 second.
Was Moss human or elf?
Moss was an elf. Looking about you all, Moss sort of nods and says, "Very well. It appears Willow would like to talk to you. Please, follow us." And he
Gomi-
sort of...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Gomi will say, "My friends, shall I wait here?"
You are all invited.
Gomi looks back at him and says, "Come on then."
Am I still enthralled by this stump?
No, you have by now noticed that, oh, there's druids. Where did they come from?
Yeah. What's going on?
And so basically what happens is, with Moss leading the way, the other druids sort of close ranks around you and they lead you back into the forest. Again, sort of Sylph and Gomi and sort of even Ella can sense it slightly, sort of via magical means. The land around you seems to sort of shift and change, and you're not exactly sure you're traveling purely in a direction. Like, weird warping is happening around you. And you end up in a grove. Sort of facing, and sort of coming down and facing this pond. This place, if you weren't convinced this place was magical beforehand, now you are convinced. Here, the air is still warm, with plants blooming like it's still in the middle of summer. A number of animals are frequenting the area, all of them peaceful, even animals which wouldn't normally coexist together. So you've got, you see a large bear, you see several wolves, you see several deer, foxes, squirrels, sort of other small creatures, all rest and sort of live here in abundance.
Would this be kind of new to Gomi since she was a druid of the moon?
Yeah, you've never seen or heard of anything like this place.
Okay.
Or you've heard of groves like this, where sort of druid circles create an area purely dedicated to nature and sort of have huge control over it.
Mm-hmm.
But you've never actually seen one before now.
Okay.
At the center of the grove, right now in front of you, is a large willow tree, covering and sort of hanging over a pond covered in sort of lilies and sort of other water-based plants.
Wow.
The plants and sort of willow fronds shift, and a character is revealed to you. Or a person is revealed to you. Stand by. Come on, now is not the time for the spinning disc.
It's just building suspense.
Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. What?
Well,
I mean, how can this be? How can this be? Which one of them is Moss?
1 second. Moss is the character right here. He's that one.
Right. So silence is all up in his face right now. What is this? What is this?
Sylph sort of staggers and doesn't look quite himself.
Yep. The person in front of you sort of speaks and sort of says, "Greetings all. My name is Willow."
I'm trying to think how Gomi would react.
How deep is the pond?
How do I whisper to you, Rose? Is it just...
To message the GM, there's a specific command for it. I think for the GM, you can just do forward GM.
Okay. I think
Do
it's
a- do a test
GMR
first.
is GM role.
It's just GR for...
Yeah, it's just saying I'm recognised command for /GM. Probably be easier if I just send
You
it in
can
Discord.
use /whisper GM.
Okay.
So /W GM.
Yep. Oh, that's saying it doesn't recognise that either.
Hold on, I will type it. What's that one? So / in front of
okay.
that, and then sort of...
Yeah, I thought it was a one word.
No, it's not. It's a bit weird.
Oh, still saying it's not recognised. What the hell? If it doesn't work, I'll just... Oh, there we go. Now I've got it.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, this figure has sort of spoken to you all and introduced itself as Willow. That would be a nature... Actually, no. That would be an Arcana check.
No, then.
No.
Then Gomi will just say, Mother. But, what? You're dead.
Hearing this, Sylph sort of snaps out of what came over him and looks to the others and asks very plainly, "What did you just see, all of you?"
I'm gonna make an arcana
That's my
check.
business.
Yep.
Oh, Ella knows then.
Yeah, Ella, you immediately recognize this being sort of preferring towards the School of Illusions. You realize this is some sort of glamour. This is basically an illusion that speaks to each of you and sort of shows you something that is close to your heart to try and put you at ease and sort of try and make you less aggressive towards this creature.
Okay. To the creature, I would say, please stop. You're just making it worse.
The creature would sort of smile and bow its head and reveal its true appearance. So all of you can see basically the person you saw glows green and then slowly fades and appears into this person before you. She is a large, almost 12-foot tall looking woman. Her hair is green. Her eyes are pure black. Her skin is green, rather. Her hair looks as if it's made of grass or willow fronds, much like her name.
Is this like a religious figure?
You don't think so.
Okay.
Would Gomi know of creatures like that?
You would have heard tell. At the best, you think this is an actual fae.
Okay.
So this is a sort of spirit of the Feywild who, for some reason, has become attached to this grove or place. And also, Ella, you asked earlier about the pond.
Uh-huh.
The water is sort of slightly obscured by the lily pads, but it is also perfectly still. No ripples, no breezes, no disruptions. And it is very glassy. You can't actually see the bottom. It looks, although the water is perfectly clear, it goes incredibly deep is how it looks.
Huh. Can I make any kind of arcana or history check to figure out exactly what she is?
You can make either Arcana or History on it. This time focusing on the pond instead of the glamour. History will do as well. You think this is a portal to the Feywild.
Okay.
Very few of these places sort of exist in a permanent state. From the legends and books you have read about, if the myths are to be believed, you could dive into this water and, swimming to the bottom, emerge out the sort of top and break the surface of a similar pool in the Feywild.
Okay.
A land of sort of nature and magic that is dangerous for mortals.
Excellent.
Many of the stories you have read of the Feywild have talked about people being bewitched and literally falling so in love with people or things there that they have simply stopped eating, stopped caring, and sort of basically wasted away through not caring about anything else. However, from what you also know of Fey creatures, now realizing this is what Willow is, they are often kind and friendly to mortals. It is simply where they do not have their own power, and often work on rules and laws and methods which seem alien to most mortals.
Okay. Ella will relax now.
Yep.
Gomi will apologise to Willow. I'll say, I'm sorry, I did not realise, but there is something very important we must tell the entire circle.
Speak and it shall be known.
We come from... what's the name of it? Memory's terrible right now.
Whitehearth.
That's the one. We came from Whitehearth in the north, and we found ruins there where a necromancer had taken them over. However, I'm closer inspection, and I tap Ella and say, we both found a book written in Druidic language. It indicates that one of our own has fallen to a black dragon, and he is the source of the necromantic magic here. We were hoping that perhaps assist us, either in locating him or possibly destroying him before he destroys more of the wilderness. He even turns trees against us.
She looks sort of grim and confused by this, and she's like, there is a book, might I see it?
Gomi taps Ella again.
Ella reluctantly pulls the journal out and presents it to Willow.
Okay, as you present it, she doesn't actually sort of reach out and take it. It just sort of, almost as if gripped by a mage hand, it floats up from you and sort of sits in front of her. Her eyes will sort of shift from the solid black they were to glow with a golden amber light, and the book's pages will start to turn as if being blown open by a strong breeze, innumerably fast. As she reads it, her general sort of demeanor becomes more grim, upset and angry, until finally, with a snap, sort of the back of the book closes and it basically gets thrown to the ground again in front of you guys. As her emotions cloud, so do sort of the weather in this grove. Sort of clouds darken, sort of it becomes a bit more humid, and you almost get the sense that this is precluding a storm. You know, that's the sort of tension that is now in the air.
Ella will pick up the book and put it back in her backpack.
Okay. Everyone make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god. The things I have like high stats in, I always roll poorly.
Uh-huh.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Aww.
1 second. Scroll down. There we go. All of you find yourselves sort of having flashbacks and having memories drawn to the front of your mind, sort of reliving the past few days, sort of how you initially came together as friends, the incident with the kobolds, and sort of most importantly, the visit to the deserted chapel, and the incident with the tree there, and sort of all of that sort of recent events before this presence in your head withdraws.
Oh, if Gomi known, he'd actually just let it happen anyway.
It's sort of an instinctual thing
Yeah,
you would
that's
resist.
Sylph looks Willow in the eye and sort of sets himself, but creature, you know our minds, I think. You know we mean no harm to you or your grove or nature. You know what we must do, and I think you can help us. I think you can help us against this dragon and this foul necromancy.
I know many things. I knew of this man, this druid. Varys was his name. I was told he had passed, a victim of the dragon, many years ago. Though much of this book is clearly the ravings of a madman, it speaks of things and names which you should have no right knowing. However, I am worried it may be worse than just necromancy and a dragon. I fear that a dark ancient evil might once again be spreading its corruption to the land. The Mori Ened Ensiosa, which I will post the word for. Anyone who can speak Elvish knows that this is basically a very ancient dialect of that. and it basically almost translates to the dark heart of the forest. There are many things that you need to know, and there is not enough time for you to understand them, not without inviting its darkness into the world. It would be best to show you if you are willing.
Gomi just nods and says, whatever we need to know to stop him, I'm willing to give.
Agreed.
Self nods.
Sure.
She sort of bows her head, sort of in almost thanks. Very well. To the southwest of here, there is a tainted place. No animal or insect lives there. No plant grows. It used to be called NRA, a village many years past.
Sylph again shudders.
There, in the ruins of that village, you will find one of its altar priests, growing stronger and rooting its corruption and spreading its congregation. It must be purged, so that the people there may be put at rest. For right now they are suffering a fate worse than death.
Sylph drops his head.
Once you have done this deed, bring its dark seed to me, and then I might be able to help you figure out the events which are plaguing your village. And with that, sort of turning her back to you, sort of deep in thought, and sort of without acknowledging anything, she will sink beneath the water, not even causing a ripple. Her body disappears when it actually hits the surface of the water. It doesn't go beneath the water. She just sinks in and is gone.
Gomi will look at Moss
Yep.
and say, by any chance, can any of you train me to use the forms of the animals of the wilds? I know it can be done, but I never completed my training with my own circle. It will help us on our coming journey.
If you have time, then yes, we can definitely teach you that. Please come with me. And he will basically lead you into a small clearing, and training montage happens.
Okay. How long does that take?
You actually take to it fairly easily. Being a druid of the moon, getting in touch with that sort of, and especially sort of being a quarter orc, getting in touch with that more animalistic side and bringing it forth, which allows you to change into animal forms, is a lot easier for you than it is for sort of the more withdrawn, controlled druids of the land, sort of druids.
Awesome.
And so soon you find yourself being able to turn into a wolf, turn into a bear. Not for that long, like it still sort of takes a lot out of you, but you now have the ability to shapeshift.
Awesome. Battle bear incoming.
Hell yeah.
I don't believe
The rest of you are sort of led to your own sort of mini clearing where you are given privacy and sort of a moment to reflect and sort of prepare while Gomi is getting this training.
I don't believe I see the village on the map. It's marked as...
The village is number
southeast.
19 on
Yes.
the map.
It's southeast of
The coast.
number 10, so southeast of Marsh.
Oh,
Edge.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. In that case, as essentially as everyone starts leaving, Sylph is actually going to leave without a word and start heading towards the village, or essentially scouting out the way.
Before you can do that, as you guys sort of prepare to leave the grove, Moss joins you and sort of says, due to the importance of this quest and at the urging of Willow, I can travel with you and we can cover many days with just a few steps.
Well, in that
Okay.
case,
Sounds good.
Sylph looks at Moss and says, "How do you serve this large woman, this creature?
Large woman.
She's a 12-foot lady."
She's a little bit portly, but that's a bit much.
Sort of Moss turns and sort of says, I now serve all of nature, and in that mine and Willow's goals align. She helps us, and we help her, and although she is the leader of our circle, it is not so much that we serve her, more that we serve nature.
And you trust that this fey creature will use even more power for good?
She is already powerful beyond words. The form she takes here is the merest extent of her true abilities. Were we in the Feywild, she would be a giant among men, is a good comparison, I feel.
Sylph just nods in acquiescence. And I suppose we're off?
Let's go.
Yep, you're off sort of with all your new abilities and prepared for this sort of event. Druid leads you out the grove and sort of starts walking through the trees. Again, stuff gets wibbly. It becomes hard to tell exactly how much time you travel. The land and the sky seem to separate. And with it, each step you cover, each step is basically somewhere.
I'm sorry, once more?
Each step is suddenly...
Yeah, I think we lost Rose again.
Dang it.
Damn.
Well, quickly, while Rose sorts that out, while we're taking these steps, Gomi will say to Ella, remember when I said about training you to use a shield?
Yeah.
I might have another idea.
Does it have to do with the bear?
Testing?
Does it have yep, you're back.
Excellent.
What was that?
Does it have to do with the bear?
Yes. I can become a bear, and that way we can get you to places faster.
I'm so
I know
down.
most of your spells are close.
That's so much better than throw a gnome.
That was my thought.
Disagree.
No one
So,
Actually,
Yeah.
Silence has a question for Moss.
yep.
Before I forget. Does Moss know of an elf called Alador?
He does not.
I see.
Although, Ella, make a history check.
Gladly. Damn.
A 10 is still enough.
Oh, sweet.
And actually, a question to Silence. How loud are you saying this? Like, would Ella be able to overhear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ella, you do know of an Alador.
Do I?
He is a member of the Wizards College in Nia, of some respect and sort of standing. He's occasionally unfavorably looked upon because he has chosen to specialize in war magic and sort of, fireballs and death and destruction and battle, which a lot of the people of Nia view as unnecessary. But yeah, you know of this person.
I'm just gonna file that information away for later.
Okay, so you don't actually mention it to Silence at all?
Nope.
Okay. moving on. So yes, as the druid leads you out through the forest, each step you are basically in a new place. So you're stationary almost until you put your next foot down, and suddenly you're in a different place. It feels as if you're covering miles instead of mere meters. The world is warping around you in a very, very weird way. And nothing sort of brings this into such sharp realization as when you suddenly find yourselves upon a old, overgrown path. And you'll find yourself stopping. Moss turns around and says, "This is as far as I can take you. You are not far now from NOA. I will wait here for your return. Please be careful."
Is there anything that you can give or tell us to help us on our way? Anything at all?
The altar priest will be shrouded, protected. It is part of their nature to gain access to it, to attempt to destroy it. You must first diminish its congregation. That will affect its power.
Sylph nods. Old hat then. Okay. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Bring it on.
Okay, as you walk down the path, you soon see a change in the forest around you. It grows grim and dark, and an unnatural mist appears, almost seeping from the ground and the trees. As Willow described, there's no life here. There's no noise except for the sounds of the wind and your own movements.
This is really
After
creepy.
about...
This is really creepy.
Yep. After maybe an hour's worth of traveling through this sort of grim landscape, you see several large shapes, buildings, sort of even from this distance. And you can see they are dilapidated and old and crumbling. The fog here is thicker than ever, and you can sort of see movement in the fog. Things which definitely look humanoid. Stopping, talking, moving again, sort of standing next to each other. And sort of, yeah, there is definitely movement up ahead.
Because everything's dead here, is there no cover between us and them then? Is it just like open ground?
Basically, there's some trees about, but they are sort of dead. There's no real undergrowth. Sort of, yeah.
Then this isn't a sneaking mission.
Probably not, no. And 1 second.
Wait, so are these are they ghostly, or is it just people far away in fog?
Make a perception check.
Oh, good.
You can't tell. The fog is so sort of obstructing and hard to see through that you can't pierce it. Other people might.
Hint, hint.
Well, if you ask, I will.
Hey.
Ella, you can see sort of as you guys move up and into the village, these are ghosts. They are spirits that are ethereal, almost semi-made out of mist.
Alright, I would relay that to my fellow travelers. That they're
Okay.
creepy spirits.
1 second. And sort of her pointing them out sort of really cements them and allows you to see them for what they are.
That's a nice map.
It is.
Okay, well,
It's not a bad map. I will say there are some things on it which are not actually part of this game. There's some things like giant spiders and dead bodies which I can't remove, basically. I found this one because I did not have the energy to map out an entire village.
Well, Gomi will quickly grab Stealth and say before we move in, bear in mind that whilst I'm in beast form, I can't cast my spells. So should anyone need healing and we're still in combat, it will probably fall to you to do.
Sylph nods and says, lead the way.
Let me just double check how long my beast form lasts. Half my druid level in hours.
So your beast shape could last 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Which in combat terms is quite a lot.
Yeah, well, it's 1 round is 6 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's like 10 times 6 combat.
Yeah, pretty sure that will last.
Yep.
Well, after saying that then, I'll turn into a bear, black bear.
Okay. I'm guessing you have the stats for a black bear on you.
Yep,
Okay.
I have it open.
Let me just find.
Since last week.
Yeah, I've had it sitting there since we started, just waiting.
Just waiting for something to load.
Where it's got its hit points, do you want me to roll for its hit points or just take its base amount?
That's entirely up to you.
I'll just take its base amount, it'd be easier than rolling every time.
Okay. And a bear is large, isn't it?
Medium for a black bear.
So yeah, it would be there. Let me just change permissions so you can move it.
Shall I just hide Gomi for now?
Yeah, I'll hide that in a second. Just,
I'll move her out of the way.
and me. Done.
It might just be easier if, I mean, you've already put in the work now, so we'll use it for now, but it might just be easier if I choose my own token, because I can keep track of HP and everything in a separate sheet, and I can
Yeah.
have it open, so.
That's okay.